Hey everybody, it's Gail, and today I have a pair of 1970s hot pants in progress that I can't wait to show you. But let's go to the pattern photo because there is only one, and here it is. And I love this whole look. The hat, the little dress, the peekaboo ass. It's perfect. Like, it is so quintessential 1970s fashion. I absolutely adore it. Um, I'm not actually going to make the rest of the look because I'm just I don't feel like having a peekaboo ass, basically, is what it comes down to. But if you would like to have a peekaboo ass, this whole thing is made in DK weight yarn on a 4mm hook, including the hot pants I'm about to show you. And I can't wait to finish them so we know what the front looks like. So here is one side of the hot pants. So you start at the bottom here, and you work up a few rows, and then you split so that you have a front and a back seam. And okay, so we have the leg hole. This is the leg hole that you put your leg through, but this is also the leg hole for when you put these on once they're all sewn up. And I have to really give it to this pattern. It sized up literally perfectly. So the largest hip you can make this for, according to the pattern, I believe is 36 inches, which is adorable. I have 48-inch hips, okay? I got ass. So what I did was there were two sizes, and it was telling me that the only difference in the two sizes was 2 extra chains for every 2 inches you wanted to add. So from 34 to 36, it was just 2 chains. And I thought, that seems like a trick. I can't imagine that that would actually work. But that's what you told me the gauge is, so let's go. And it fits perfectly around my thigh. Building it out to what would be the 48-inch, which for me, by the way, was 107 stitches before the chain 2 when you're starting the round. So it really did fit up perfectly, and I was very excited about that. I usually have to do way more math than that when I'm doing a kind of fit like this. And then, so I made the chain, and then I just followed the pattern completely along. I did not make any other changes besides the longer chain, and it really seems like these are going to fit. So it's really interesting because you make this side, and then you make an identical side, and now I have to sew them together. And so when I sew them together, it's going to be, I'm just going to probably wrong side them like that, and I like the mattress stitch, so I'll probably bust out my mattress stitch and just work all the way along. And then over here, this marker is letting me know, hold on, I'm going to drop the second pair, this is easier. This marker here it says to leave 5 inches open for the zipper. So that is the mark that's as tall as I want it in the front so the zipper will fit. I have zippers on order. I actually got 4-inch zippers because it doesn't actually tell you that you need a zipper or a closure. It just like tells you to stop. Which is kind of hilarious. And of course, because we can only see the ass side of things, for all I know, you do leave them open in the front. They might be comfortable. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go sew the seams in, and then I'm also going to do the waistband. The waistband is interesting because you're doing a lot of decreasing. And I don't know that I need as much decreasing as the pattern is recommending. So what I will be doing is at the end of every row, slipping them on and making sure that like the edges can still touch, so that I don't end up with a pair of hot pants that I can get over my ass, but not across my stomach. So I'm gonna figure that out. It really won't take that long. This is did I say this is DK weight? I don't remember. This is DK weight yarn. I am using Lion brand cotton jeans. I actually bought it to make a different pair of hot pants, and realized that those hot pants are supposed to be sport weight, and I wasn't going to do the math to make it work. I was already doing enough math because, again, they're from the 1970s, and the large size hips in the 1970s are adorable. But yeah, I've really enjoyed working with this yarn. I've never worked with it before. It's worked out very beautifully. I've even near the end it splits a little bit, but it doesn't go wild, which is such a nice change. I've been dealing with some splitty yarns lately, so that was very exciting for me. So I'm going to go to the next stage of this, and I will be back most likely with them fully on to show you the results. Okay, so I have a theory about why there were no front photos of these shorts. I can't stop laughing. So I don't have a button on because, well, I do want to say I ended up following the waist instructions as laid out, and if not for the they would actually probably fit really well. It's a little tiny bit snug, but honestly what I would do is probably just make a little button loop and then put the button over here so there could be a little more movement. And just to really put the cherry on the top of the sundae here, so I'm going to show you the pattern photo again and show you the back of these shorts. And this is very, very important because I do have to give them credit. They didn't lie. This is so weirdly obscene. Like, because I looked at the photo, looking at the pattern photo, I was like, wow, that's a really deep seam right down the back of the butt. Like, they're clearly meant to be snug. They're meant to be form-fitting, which they are. But surely the seam isn't that obvious when you have them on. But here we are. I'm sorry, I can't get over this front. Okay, I can't. This is a whole camel foot. All right, that's all I'm gonna say about it. It's all the words I'm gonna use for it. Okay, I'm better. Anyway, so I think something that's very important to take away from this is that all of my editing to make it big enough to fit my hips did work exactly right. I think what you can do if you want to try to make them yourself, and I do recommend it because it's a very easy pattern. I think it's a great way to learn how to make a pair of shorts. First of all, add 2 to 4 more stitches in the chain than what you need to fit around your hips, and that'll make it a little looser, and hopefully will cut down on any, let's just call it, fupa issues, alright? Like, maybe it'll make it a little smoother, make it a little easier. Also, I didn't mattress stitch down the butt. I did a slip stitch because I was in the zone and not thinking, and slip stitch joint is my other go-to when I'm in the zone. So, don't do that if you don't want your butt to be, like, perfectly encased. Now, if you do want your butt to be perfectly encased, definitely use the slip stitch method because, like, I feel like I could be holding on to some pieces of mail between my butt cheeks right now. That's where we're at. I gotta tell you, when I was finishing this up, I did not think that this would be the second half of this video. That being said, there are a couple of minor typos in the pattern. So on it says round 2, 3, and 4. I think it says row, actually. They say row when they mean round, but whatever. It says repeat row 2. You're supposed to repeat row 1. You're working even over the number of stitches that you've made. The other one is when you do the decreases, starting at row 17, if you're making a larger size in general, which I think you can see. Can you see them? Yeah, you can see them right here. You work them, and like the whole point is to pull them over your hips, so it's right over the middle of the hip. If you've seen my video about making pencil skirts, it's kind of the opposite of how you make a pencil skirt. Is you're pulling in over the widest part of the hip rather than building out from the widest part of the hip, because you're working from the bottom up on these. And my pencil skirt, you work from the top down. But when you get to the decrease rows, they're very simple. They just have you skip stitches. You don't even have to do like decrease stitches. You just skip them. It says to repeat that decrease under the previous round's decrease, they mean over the previous round's decrease, which I know we can all figure out, but I'm very big on making sure everybody knows when there has been a hiccup in a pattern, and this errata is on my vintage pattern errata page on my website, so you have it at your disposal should you need it. I'm gonna go decide if I'm keeping these shorts or not, because I really don't know what I'm gonna do with them. But they were fun to make, and I would very much enjoy making another set that isn't quite so at home in the bat cave, let's say. Both bat caves, actually. Okay. If you enjoy what I do here, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all of that fun stuff, and I will see you when I see you.